We are here today in response to a legacy of police violence that most recently took the lives of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, Alan Ruiz. We have a unique opportunity to cut the spending of the NYPD that consumes the largest share of the city's budget. Producing billions in savings that can be reinvested in a shared vision of community safety, infrastructure, and recovery that does not rely on the NYPD. The bloated NYPD budget funds state-sanctioned violence committed against black people. We demand that our city defunds the NYPD by at least half. At least half. And reallocate resources directly to our community that has been starved of resources for decades while being occupied and terrorized by NYPD. This is a call for us to re-envision and reimagine what public safety looks like uptown. Harlem, the Heights, Dyckman, Inwood, and Z-Bronx. Z-Bronx. We demand investments in education. We demand investments in health, housing, and employing our people. Instead of investments in criminalizing and the subjugation of our people. We demand long-term safety strategies, such as access to living wages, healthcare, quality public education, and freedom from police terror now.
Ahora en español. So, nosotros estamos aquí hoy en respuesta al legado de violencia policial que más recientemente cobró la vida de George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade y nuestro propio Alan Feliz. Hay más nombres, ¿no? Hay más nombres. Repite el par de esos nombres, por favor, para nuestra comunidad en español. Anthony Bago. Demasiados nombres hay y muchísimos que nunca lo vamos a reconocer. Entonces, por eso es que hoy salimos a las calles en defensa de las vidas negras. En este momento, las ciudades de todo el país están repensando los presupuestos municipales y reevaluando si la policía está haciendo trabajos que nunca tuvieron la intención de hacer. Porque sabemos que la mamá de Mohamed Bah llamó a una ambulancia. ¿Y quién llegó a la puerta? La policía. Que lo mataron en su propia sala, donde estaba enfermo, ¿no? Tenemos una oportunidad única de reducir el gasto de la policía de Nueva York, que consume la mayor parte del presupuesto de la ciudad, produciendo miles de millones en ahorros que pueden reinventarse en una visión compartida de seguridad, infraestructura y recuperación comunitaria que no depende de la policía de Nueva York. Y voy a decir rapidito, en estas 3 semanas de rebelión, yo he visto más máscaras, más agua, más refrescos, más helado, todo lo que tú quieras, que yo he visto el gobierno repartir en 3 meses de pandemia. Nosotros mismos hemos compartido máscaras, hemos cocido en nuestra casa, y la policía, ¿qué? El presupuesto inflado de la policía de Nueva York financia la violencia sancionada por el Estado cometida contra los negros. Exigimos que nuestra ciudad reembolse el NYPD por al menos mitad, o sea, 3.000 millones. 3.000 millones, que muchos conocemos como 3 billones en este Spanglish. Y reasigne, se le podemos quitar todo, yo estoy de acuerdo. ¿Verdad? y reasigne recursos directamente a las comunidades negras y gente no blanca, y voy a agregar pobres, porque somos comunidades pobres, que han estado privadas de recursos durante décadas, mientras estaban ocupados y aterrorizados por el NYPD. Ese es un llamado para nosotros, para volver a imaginar y reimaginar cómo se ve la seguridad pública en nuestra comunidad de Uptown, que eso no tiene traducción. Cuando decimos Uptown, ¿qué decimos? Harlem, Washington High, Dyckman, Inwood y el Bronx. Exigimos inversiones en educación, salud, vivienda y empleo para los miembros de nuestra comunidad, y en lugar de inversiones en criminalizar y subyugar a los miembros de nuestra comunidad. Exigimos estrategias de seguridad a largo plazo, o sea que no para el año fiscal 21. Tenemos que seguir en pie de lucha, ¿no? Como el acceso a los salarios dignos, atención médica, educación pública de calidad y libertad del terror policial. Si ustedes pueden visualizar, imaginar la misma manera que nuestros ancestros visualizaron un futuro sin colonización, un futuro donde su tierra era de ellos y la podían trabajar y son dueños de ella. ¿Puedo decir que sí se puede? ¡Sí se puede! ¿Sí se puede? ¡Sí se puede! Familia, con esa misma energía seguimos, vamos a marchar hoy en día. Y esos mismos mensajes, como dijimos en el día de ayer, tenemos que llevarlo a nuestras casas. Muchas de nuestras familias reconocemos cuando dicen desfinanciar a la policía, tienen miedo. Y esas son conversaciones muy claves que tenemos que tener y seguir empujando a nuestro pueblo de imaginar un futuro distinto.
How's everybody here? I got some data here for you to take home, analyze, and study. Do you know how much an NYPD officer makes? $42,000. That's not money, right? Not much. You know how much they're making overtime? Over $100,000. Over 150 is data. Look for it. Take home and study. You know what's that overtime they do with that? They book up people, arrest up people, take people to court. They go after our people. We had to fight. Right? That's why we need to defund the police. Let's do it, people!
Fist up! Fight back! Fist up! Fight back! Fist up! Fight back! Fist up! Fight back! El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 The people united will never be defeated. The people
my brother had to say goodbye to his brother. And I'm here to introduce him. Justicia para Alan! 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 Justice for Alan! Justice for Alan! Justice for Alan! Justice for Alan!
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out today. Thank you, truly. I feel like every time I'm at a rally or a march, it just dignifies the beauty that when people come together in a community, the strength and power that we have when we're together. So thank you for symbolizing that strength with us here once again today. This country was created by us, is being ran by us, and will be continued to be owned and ran by us. We can no longer let the people sitting on the top of the hills dictate what we do and how we speak and how we feel. Our hurt is real. The people that we're losing are real. And this hurts that we have to come together to fight for human life. It makes no sense that we have to gather 1,000 people to symbolize how important our loved ones are to us. If you lose someone, you hurt. They hurt just like us. So how can they not understand the pain that we're currently going through? On October 17th of 2019, my brother was murdered by the NYPD. He was stopped on a traffic stop for an alleged seatbelt violation. He had his seatbelt on the whole time. The officer, instead of letting that just go by, hey, my bad, because if you make a mistake, you'll say my bad and let the person keep going. No. My brother was of color, he was in a nicer car. Let me dig a little deeper. For no reason whatsoever. Okay, a warrant popped up, and he had to detain him. He didn't detain him. He decided to talk around the situation. After an altercation in the vehicle, an officer let one fatal shot off in my brother's chest. This happened less than 2,000 feet from a hospital. So as you can see this hospital from here where we stand, so can my brother as he took his last gasp of air. When this officer had the shoot to kill mentality instead of shoot to maim. It ain't right. Say it louder. It ain't right. It ain't right. And it will never be right. So we gotta take away the shoot to kill mentality from the NYPD. In order for us to do this, we have to hit them where it hurts. We have to hit them where it hurts, ladies and gentlemen. We have to hit them in their pockets. We have to defund the NYPD by $1 billion, by $2 billion, by $3 billion, all of it. They don't need it. They don't use it right. They're not protecting the people. They're killing the people. If we give the fire department $6 billion, I bet you there'll never be a burnt building in this hood ever again. They do their job. We don't want to give them $6 billion because they do just fine what they're doing. But damn, why give somebody this amount of power that can't do right or their job correctly? The NYPD has been taking, not only the NYPD, but all officers in this nation have been taking countless lives for years. This isn't just 2019, 2020 thing. This isn't just this week or last week. This has been for years, 40, 50, 60 years of police injustice and police brutality. As this happened to my brother, I had no choice but to do more investigation on other countless lives that had been taken. Ahmaud Arbery's, Breonna Taylor's, George Floyd's. And I ran into a young man that was named Keyston Charles. And I apologize to the family because I wasn't able to get your permission to speak about your son, and I know it hurts. because it's been over 8 years. Keisha Charles was a young man, a teenager in Brooklyn, who was shot to death by the same officer who killed my brother. By the same officer who killed my brother. That ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't right. He shot this kid 16 times as he had his hands in the air. And as you can tell, this family had no justice. We ain't gonna let it happen again, ladies and gentlemen. This officer will not walk again. And I don't say his name because it would only further empower him, and he is not important. His name isn't gonna ring bells for something good or anything. I don't want him to gain popularity about this. I just want him to go to jail. I want justice. Monetary values will not silence us. Paying us off, we don't want that. That ain't gonna bring my brother back. Ever. He left a 1-year-old boy who will never get to play ball with his son. Ever. A 1-year-old. This kid hadn't even been able to clearly say the word Dada before his father was taken. How fair is that? That ain't fair. That ain't right, and that ain't fair. As I stand here with my families and you guys now, my brothers and sisters, I want us to not be silenced. This is not a trend. This will not go away. This will not fade away. My hurt is forever, and I will not be silenced. Thank you for your time.
Policía asesina, libre no cobarde. Policía asesina, libre no cobarde. Police shoot the murder one, and another day by day. Police shoot the murder one, and another day by day. After all the murder, still free, they remain. And after all the murder, still free, they remain. Cause they dress in blue and they're born in white. Cause they dress in blue and they're born in white. Assassins in the night. Criminales corren libre por la calle. Criminales corren libre. Criminales corren libre por la calle. Porque visten de azul. Porque visten de azul. Porque y blanco nació. Porque visten de azul y blanco nació. Y asesinos son criminals running loose through these streets. Criminals hanging loose on a tree. Criminals, but them always see free. Cause they dress in blue. Cause they dress in blue. And they're born right. Cause they dress in blue and they're born right. Assassins in the night. Not in our fucking name. The time is now. That's it. Our ancestors are with us. And we are with us. That's it. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, shut it down. 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 I think we're taking the streets today. We're telling New York that the streets belong to us. My name is Johanna Fernandez. I'm a professor of history at Baruch College of the City University of New York. I used to work with Domingo once upon a time when we were freeing Mumia Abu Jamal, a black political prisoner, former Black Panther, The African Diaspora says presente. This is the thing. I teach American history and African American history, and I'm Dominican. But most people think I'm black because I call myself black because I'm black. The oppression of African Americans, lo moreno, the people that our parents called moreno, the oppression against those people forces this country to come to terms with its sins. It is the deepest contradiction in the farce that is the story of American democracy, which has never existed. If black Americans are not free and if their lives don't matter, our lives sure as hell are not going to matter. Let me tell you something about the police in the United States. The police in the United States was organized as an institution to return escaped slaves back to the plantation. And I'm not kidding with you about this. You can go read the law books. It said that if you captured a slave, you could beat the slave 15 times in the process of returning him back to the plantation, or her, because we know about Harriet Tubman. But if the slave resists, and if the slave says, I am filled with dignity, I am a human being, the capturer, the police, was allowed to hit the slave 30 times. So what am I telling you? That white supremacy is part of the DNA of the police in America. It cannot be reformed. It has to be abolished. But let me tell you what happens after the so-called end of slavery. After the so-called end of slavery, black life wasn't worth what it was worth under slavery, because African slaves and enslaved Africans cost a lot of fucking money. Because they produced the wealth of this country, the cotton, the tobacco, all the cash crops. So at the end of the Civil War, you could capture a freedman, that's what they were called, a former slave, and now you could kill them. Under slavery, if you killed a slave, you could get the death penalty, because slaves were the most valued property in terms of capital before slavery. After slavery, you could kill them in the streets like a dog. And today, we see Mexicans being killed. We see Dominicans and Puerto Ricans being killed. We see all people of color being killed.
That ain't right.
And it ain't right. And it's not just Alan Félix, it's Kiko Garcia, it's Amadou Diallo, it's Anthony Baez, a generation before you. I was marching in the streets in the 1990s with hundreds of thousands of people because Anthony Baez in the Bronx, his football dared to touch the car of a cop, and the cop strangled him to death. And out of his death and that of many others emerges Mothers Against Police Brutality. And we're going to hear from them at 125th Street. If we don't get it, if we don't get it,
no justice, no peace. Hey everybody, my name's Adriana. I'm a committee member. I'm a Chicana. I'm here with my compañero Juan, a Chicano. We're gonna do a quick Know Your Rights because we're here to protect our community. All right, so the first, everybody listen up. If you're taking photos and you're posting, make sure you're blurring people's faces.
Entonces, si están tomando fotos, tienen precauciones para borrar las caras de la gente en esas fotos. Gracias.
I need everybody to disable their facial recognition on their phone right now and their GPS location, because you know what? We get surveillance and we're taking the streets. We didn't ask for permission to be here.
Entonces, si tienen la posibilidad de abrir sus teléfonos con su cara, como el de recognición, o si pueden usar sus dedos, deben desarmar ese
Ella está diciendo que en los teléfonos de ustedes vamos a ponerlo en airplane mode, en el avioncito, ustedes lo van a poner ahí, porque y también le van a quitar si tiene para reconocer la cara, que la gente ahora tiene eso, que se lo quiten, porque como nosotros no pedimos permiso para coger la calle y nosotros entendemos que el sistema siempre no está
All right. That's why we're Chicanos, right? Because we speak Spanglish. All right.
Okay. Anyway, so the next one is that so you make sure to let someone know that you're here. Make sure, if we got Sharpies, we're working on the security team over here. Make sure that there's someone who knows that you're here and write down their number on your arm.
All right, por favor, díganle a su familia, un amigo que no esté aquí, por favor, llámales, avísales que ustedes están en la marcha aquí manifestando, por favor.
To El Hajj Malik Al Shabazz and all of our ancestors, when it comes down, don't you be afraid. When it comes down, no matter what name you call, just be ready for it all. I am ready for it all. Abolish pigs all across the nation. Take away prison and militarization. Abolish pigs across the nation. Take away pigs and militarization. When it comes down, don't you be afraid. When it comes down, no matter what name you call, I'm old school like the beginning of rap. Extant, more like the beginning of boom bap. From back, Africa black. On fire for the people, never tired, forever live until I die. Get them high, everybody come on, say freedom! Freedom! Say freedom! Freedom! Say revolution! Revolution! I am an Afro-Indina Maroon. I am Puerto Rican and Jamaican. We are here in the struggle. We are here with you. We have always been together. Don't let anybody tell you different. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Señores y señoras, esta es la revolución. This is what revolution looks like. And next up, to talk to us about the long struggle to free the island of Puerto Rico, we've got Norma Perez. Norma, give it up for Norma. Independencia. Independencia. ¿Cuándo? ¿Y cuándo es? ¿Cuándo es? Thank you so much for inviting me. Es un honor estar aquí al frente de todos ustedes y hablando de Pedro Albizu Campos. Albizu vive, la lucha sigue. Albizu vive. Albizu vive. Albizu vive. Albizu, nuestro afroboricua Albizu, discriminado por su color de piel, eliminado de la universidad, quisieron eliminarlo de la universidad, se graduó siendo el mejor estudiante y no lo dejaron dar su speech de graduación. ¿Por qué? Por discrimen, por racismo. Albizu, el abogado de los trabajadores y las trabajadoras. Albizu, el abogado de los pobres en Puerto Rico y en el mundo. Albizu, que buscó la unidad del Caribe, de Sudamérica, de todas las comunidades. Albizu, el que siempre estuvo hombro con las mujeres luchadoras de mi país. Ese es el Albizu que nos representa. Ese es el Albizu que está aquí presente. Y es un honor
que yo esté invocando su espíritu en este momento, junto al espíritu del gran Malcolm X. ¡Malcolm X vive! ¡La lucha sigue! ¡Malcolm X vive! ¡La lucha sigue! ¡Malcolm X vive! ¡La lucha sigue! Nuestro deber revolucionario es pedir que la policía se largue, que le quiten todos los recursos, que los recursos económicos se les den a las comunidades y a las escuelas donde están nuestras comunidades, que le den todos esos recursos a las comunidades que tienen necesidad. Ese es nuestro deber. No permitamos ni una vida más que caiga entre las manos de estos asesinos. Nos asesinaron a Malcolm, nos asesinaron al Bisu, le dieron radiación, lo metieron en cárcel simplemente por sus creencias. Así que muchas gracias por estar aquí. No olvidemos que es el imperio el que tenemos que eliminar. Tenemos que eliminar la política imperialista que tiene este sistema racista. Eliminar el racismo del todo. Defund the police is not the only one. We have to start doing that. Not only defund the police, we have to defund the system. The funds goes to the communities. The funds goes to our community, black and brown communities. This is what we want. The funds goes to the school, the public system. The funds has to go to the health system. That's what we are looking for. That's what we have to fight about. Y como dijera Albizu en su discurso del 1950, el asesino es el poder. Tenemos que eliminar al asesino. We have to eliminate the power. They have the power, we have to eliminate them. Black Lives Matter. Albizu vive, la lucha sigue. Malcolm vive. La lucha sigue.
Señores, quédense ahí, por favor. Aquí estamos en Washington Heights y nosotros sabemos que hay un lío entre los puertorriqueños y los dominicanos. Pero vengo para decirle a ustedes que la bandera nacionalista puertorriqueña fue otorgada a Puerto Rico por la República Dominicana. Ya ustedes saben.
Hey, can everybody hear me? All the way in the back, we need quiet, please. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
Señores y señores, vecinos que están viendo por la ventana, queremos rescatar la historia. La última rebelión que se dio en Nueva York por la violencia policial fue aquí.
Ramona was murdered February 2nd, 2012. So that's 8 years I've been fighting for justice for my son that I never got. But today, we are in the street. The people are being, we're in the street. And we show that we are powerful. We are here to say to the lawmakers, the governors, that we want change. And change must start now. It must start now. No more killing of our black and brown people. As mothers are trying to cry for our kids, we should not be burying our kids. Our kids should be burying us. We are tired. We're sick and tired. I'm here today because I'm fighting for my son. The one was killed in my house where he should be safe. He shouldn't be safe in his own home. I got my son that stood there at 6 years old and watched his brother gun down in front of him. He's 14 now, and this is why I fight so hard every day out here in the street to make sure this doesn't happen to him. I ask you again, please, don't stop now. This is what they want. Cuomo said it himself, that the protesters should go home. We are not going home! We are not going home! We want accountability! We want justice! Please fund the police! Please fund the police by $1 billion! We want teachers! We want social workers! We want housing! De Blasio, you taking the homeless people off the
the streets, in the subway, what are your long-term goals? Where are you going to put them? Let's start there. There should be no police in the school. We send our school teachers and we send our kids to school to learn. We need guidance counselor. When our kids don't want to talk to us, at least they have somewhere to go. My time is up, but I want to say, people, please stay in the street. Don't give up. We will never give up the fight.
There's two more families that are here with us today. One is the family of Jason Tirado. The other one is the family of Antonio Williams. And they both also wanted to say some brief remarks about what happened to their loved ones. And I was reminded by the great musician Bobby Sanabria that look around you, man. This is Fred Hampton's dream. Black and brown, run this down. This is the Rainbow Coalition. It's full of fight. All right? So give yourselves a hand for being here. For fighting.
Hello, my name is Gladys Williams, mother of Antonio Williams. Antonio Williams was pretty much murdered 2019, September 29th, by the NYPD. Mo Keen and 5 other officers came out of an unmarked car and they chased him down. They shot him multiple times. And this is a great, all the unity from you guys and all the support, and you know, Black Lives Matters at all times, all the time. We need justice for all these families, justice for us. It's time that we have a voice, and let's do what we gotta do. Justice, no peace.
The sister-in-law of Jason Tirado. He was murdered October 2007. He was in his car. He was shot in the back. He died in his car. The officer left. He didn't report it. He didn't even call 911. He left him there to die, and 19 hours later, he went and he told his boss, "I think I killed someone." He was acquitted. They didn't file any charges against him, not even leaving the scene of an accident or anything like that. He got to stay on the force, and he retired a couple of years later. His name is Sean Sawyer. Sean Sawyer! Sean Sawyer!
Fuck Sean Sawyer!
Thank you.
Yes, I'm the father of Antonio Williams. Just like my wife said, he was shot down. And then after that, the police decided to go out and try to dehumanize him by bringing up one thing like a mark in his past that I guess, according to life, when you go to jail, when you do something and you pay for it, it's a clean slate now. But then they want to go out and pull it out the hat, pull everything out, saying, okay, this is that, just to justify what they did, just to cover up what they did. So, yes, we're here to say, defund the police, shut it down if they don't listen, hold police accountable for their actions. The police is no bigger than you and I. They're human. So when you make a mistake, you pay just like we do. They're not above the law. It's time we start letting these cops know that they are never above the law. You pay just like everybody else. Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people!
I think it's important to recognize someone very important. The only TV program, the only network that covered us was BronxNet. BronxNet, give it up for BronxNet. And the queen of BronxNet is Rina Valentin. Rina
for Immortal Technique.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! My name is Immortal Technique. I was born in Hospital Militar de Lima in Peru, and we represent a faction, a gigantic faction of Latino people, so-called Latino people, who refuse to accept the racism that was ingrained into our society. We refuse to accept that that's the way it is. But I will tell you why Latino people were ingrained with such racism when we were young. You see, here in this country, I look Latino, but when I go home to South America, I'm not considered an Indio, I'm not considered indigenous, I'm considered a mestizo. Latin America is the birthplace of the racial tier system. So when people came here from Cuba that I know and they moved to Miami in the 70s and 80s, they said, I'm here in America, free. No, you N-word, you can't come in this store. We don't want people like you. See, the racial tier system was not honored here in America. That's why someone who's light-skinned thinks they're caramel. You think you're something else because you want to be anything but what the fuck you are. That was over something completely different, create a wedge between us. We know who we are, ladies and gentlemen. You know who you are. Can I get one of those from me? We know who we are. 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 Viva la revolución. Viva la revolución. I love you. Remember, some of us, we are the same people. We just speak a Latin-based language. That's it. Te quiero con todo mi corazón. Que viva la revolución. Que con todo mi gente afroamericana. Te quiero mucho. Harlem in the building. We love you.
Free all political prisoners. We have a brother who's been at it since the 1960s. Because we have to respect the brothers and sisters who are fighting against police terror, police brutality, and a rotten-ass system from the time Africans came to this continent. And it wasn't just the Africans, it was the indigenous people who were wiped out. We have here today the brilliant artist Ngoma. Bring it up.
Check. Mic check. I need this one. Mic check. This is a test. This is a test. The state of disunion is homeless and has no address. Wrapped in a tattered, blood-splattered banner. Fat Sam sleeps on park bench. Bag spare change from the Japanese embassy. Payback for Hiroshima. The Wall Street yo-yo defies balance. Budget won't budge. Eviction papers served. Angry landlords demand cash deposits before postponement, but no postponement of poverty is granted. Only in God we trust. Stamped on a gold bullion, or maybe a Krugerrand might do. But plastic melts down and jams up at ATM machines, and the ashes at the token booth is only a token of the sickness. It's 12:46 a.m. and this poem interrupts the night, demanding to be written. Because bosses like bowling balls throw strikes against unions, and 30 pieces of silver won't save your soul. Willie lynched us so bad that violence doesn't shock us anymore. Not even death lasts forever, as a daily diet is elusive to the many. All the factories are closed. Nothing's made here anymore. No one works. All the unions busted. Everyone's gone fishing. All the fish are dead. Even nuns have dildos, and confessional chambers are not safe for your young sons. The cross is a sword used by conquerors, stuck in the heart of the earth. The richest country in the world is morally bankrupt. The president's a joke. Sound like an emergency to me. Some take it as a joke or hoax to keep the peace at least, or at least to keep the peace. But I really need to know, are you listening? And can we all get to the same page in this book of life? Mic check. Mic check, this is a test. The state of disunion is homeless and has no address. Is this thing on? The real Black Panthers ain't in Wakanda. Real Black Panthers ain't in Wakanda. Never had vibranium. Ain't Afrofuturistic. In fact, their future is in peril. An endangered species, living heroes and sheroes, not Marvel characters imagined by Disney. No blockbuster movie by Hollywood. America says they don't exist, but JAG or whoever declared them dangerous, counterintelligence programmed them, disappeared them behind prison walls. Warriors in the struggle for liberation never asked to be citizens. Righteous soldiers, they did not wear uniforms. Guilty only of taking a stand to free the land, framed by a system that refuses to acknowledge their sovereignty. Go and tell the children, tell them we had real heroes that lived and died for freedom. Call them by their name: Fred Hampton, Little Bobby Hutton, Safia Bukhari, Herman Ferguson, Bashir Hamid, Zayd Malik Shakur, Geronimo, as in Jijaga Pret. Just to name a few who died too soon, like Kouassi Balagoon. There's no need to make shit up. Many still languish behind the walls. Heroes and sheroes standing tall. Mumia Abu-Jamal, Russell Maroon Jones, Herman Wallace, Matulu Shakur, Jalil Mutakim, Robert Seth Hayes, Imam Jamil Al-Amin, Rochelle Sinkay McGee. Some locked down almost half a century. Yes, my friend, they are real Black Panthers. This is only a few that need to be free, and they damn sure ain't in Wakanda. Yes.
I'm 16 years old. I was raised here in Harlem, and I'm glad to be here today. I came here to speak on injustice in our community, which is facing, and how together as a unified front we can make a change. After I say, oh, okay, hold on. So my piece is called I Can't Breathe. Asked to step out, taken out of his car, questioning if it's based on his skin. Thrown to the ground, pinned to the floor, held by a knee to his neck. Treated like a rag doll, treated like trash, treated like nothing. Treated like the life given wasn't important, treated not as an equal. He cried, yet they wouldn't listen. He pleaded, yet they ignored. I can't breathe. The pressure tightens. I can't breathe. The weight becomes heavy. I can't breathe. The light fades. I can't breathe. Blood spills from his nose. I can't breathe. No air is taken in. I can't breathe. With a final blink, his body is laid to rest. And now we're forced to protest because his words were oppressed and his rights weren't met. Please get your knee off my neck. I can't breathe. George Floyd.
This movement is never going to stop until we see justice. Am I right? We are not stopping. We are continuing, and we will not stop. As nurses, we know that racism is a public health crisis. We see it every day, everywhere we work. And we saw it clearly during the corona pandemic that hit New York so hard in the past few months. But who suffered the most? Our Black and brown communities had the highest rates of infection, of serious illness, and of death. I don't have to repeat the statistics because we live and breathe them every day. Before corona, during corona, and right now as it continues. Hospitals in Black and brown neighborhoods were drowning in COVID patients with severity of illness so bad, so overwhelming, that our caregivers literally fainted from
exhaustion. Thousands of us were infected as well. Hundreds of frontline caregivers and frontline so-called essential workers succumbed to the virus, and no surprise, the vast majority were people of color. The only business that saw customers in our communities during the pandemic were funeral parlors, and that is wrong. And what about those who couldn't afford funerals? They were buried in Potter's Fields in graves dug by Rikers Island inmates, almost all of who come from our communities. Our prison population and those in immigrant detention suffer the highest rates of infection. It's a population our government wants us to ignore, where the luxury of social distancing is impossible, and where they lack soap, hand gel, and masks. Racism is a public health crisis. It haunts us from womb to tomb. Black and brown women in the U.S. die from complications of childbirth. Infant mortality among people of color occur in rates that rival the poorest communities in the planet. And this in the wealthiest nation the world has ever seen. Wealth procured on the backs of the working class, built on the blood, sweat, tears, and lives of black and brown people for centuries. Both the police and private security forces are used to terrorize workers fighting for better life, especially targeting black and brown people and immigrants. And that same terror exists in our communities today, where the legalized murder of black men and women by the police historically occurred with impunity, but not anymore, no more. And in Puerto Rico, the additional burden of colonization has harmed people even further in disaster care and the lack of health care in that community as well. Nurses stand for racial and economic justice. We stand for life. We stand for the dignity, health, and well-being of every single human being. And we recognize very clearly that only when Black lives matter will all lives matter. Black 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 lives matter.
All right, we want all of you to stay put because we're on our way to the People's Church, the church that was occupied by the Young Lords, the Puerto Rican counterpart to the Black Panther Party. And you're going to hear from Black Panthers and Young Lords there. But before you do, I want to introduce you to Romeo Beato, an Afro-Dominican.
Peace, everyone, peace. As a young person, I want to address all the young people in the crowd. And to clarify, everyone under 100, you with that? So first, to the young people, we need you here today. We need you here tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now. The struggle is long, and you have the time, the energy, the creativity, the fire that we need to make this dream of a new world come true for justice. And we all know white supremacy is a hell of a drug. It makes good into evil, evil into good, it erases history, it degrades people. But we know, and I know, as an Afro-Latino, when black people get free, we all get free. So we're here for George, we're here for Brianna, we're here for Ahmad, we're here for all the victims of police violence. We're here to free you, we're here to free me, we're coming for everybody. We're coming for this city, we're coming for this country, and we're coming for the world. Young people, rise up!
That was the shortest speech. Give it up for the youngest person around. Okay, we've got Ralph Pointer, long distance revolutionary Ralph
our brothers and sisters, it is great to see you out here today, but we must remember, the road to justice is long. But one of the things we forgot on our way to justice, on that long road, is who we are. Now, I want you to repeat after me. We are an African people.
An African people.
We are
An
African people.
An African people.
We are an African people.
An African people.
And we must remember those brothers and sisters who march with us on a unity of purpose are also our brothers and sisters. And when we understand that, we will have the means of justice. And one of the means of justice is to end unemployment. We can do that if we control our education budget. It's $30 billion in New York City. We will remember our heroes when we control our education. Our brothers and sisters in the death camps who fought for us to make it possible for us to have this space to continue the struggle for liberation, for freedom, for jobs, for justice. So we must remember those political prisoners. We know them by name, but we don't know them nearly well enough. So they must be in our school curriculum. Those who were there, who fought to free us all and to keep us safe. The list is too long to repeat here. We know many have been in the death camps for over 50 years, beginning with our brother, Leonard Peltier, who was an indigenous people when they brought the slaves. He represented them. We all know the name of Mumia, but there are many others, and demand from your history teachers, demand that you know and learn the names of our political prisoners who made it possible for us to be here. What's the call? Free them all! What's the call? Free them all! What's the call? Free them all! Thank you.
Thank you, Pointer. And now hear from the mother of Mohammed Ba, another victim of police terror. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm so proud all you people come outside today in Harlem. First of all, I want to tell you, I was an immigrant from West Africa, Conakry, Guinea. I'm the mother of Mohammed Ba. My son Mohammed Ba, the mother in 125th Street and Monisa Avenue, right here. Mohammed Ba was an honor student. Mohammed Ba was a taxi driver. Mohammed Ba never committed a crime. They discriminate Mohammed as they hear his name Mohammed. They discriminate Mohammed as the color of his skin. They disrespect me because they ask me who I know. I say, I don't understand what you mean. I'm the mother of Mohammed Ba. He's sick. I want to take him to the best hospital. I will pay. They say, oh, mom, don't worry, we'll take care. They take care because they kill him. When I called for the ambulance, before ambulance people come, NYPD show up. I say, I don't call you, I'm looking for ambulance. To summarize it to him, I begged them, the family begged them, the neighbors begged them and said, this boy, he's a good boy. He's good for everyone here. If you say he don't want to open the door, he have emotional distress, let him, mom and the family talk to him, he will open the door. They refuse. If I tell you, I feel when I see George. I remember myself in September 2012. In from my son building, when we talked to them, everybody talked, they refused and killed Mohammed. Since 2012, I fight, I build it. The Puerto Rico people support me. Everybody support me.
lived in the room. But that day I can say Black Panther refused, put me in the car and meet them, they were waiting for me. We need freedom. Black life is matter. Judge life is matter. We want, you should join for us since that time, who say no more other Muhammad but in the black community to be murdered and the parent that to suffer 6 years before expose the truth out. We work for the special prosecutor. We work for the appeal the 58 why they used to shield all the people, and that's why it will never happen again. Thank you so much. This is just starting. We'll be fighting until we got free. We'll be until we not be free. No parent can be suffered, the mother, the child, and the mother suffered upon the truth. Now the truth is out. Thank you. We're here because there is something in the soul that cries for freedom. We are here because we want to fight to avenge the deaths of all those black and brown and poor white people who've been killed by the cops. We're here because we want to build a new world, a world organized around human need and not profit, a world where we will need no cops. We want a world that protects, that honors our environment. We want a world that honors life. We want a world where dignity doesn't have to be fought for. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! We're going to move into the People's Church. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it.
Shotguns came with special training. In the dark of night or broad daylight, they interrupt community with terror and fight. The law is on their side as they made me feel. To them it's just a game, we know it gives them a thrill. Somebody's mother was somebody's child. Uncle lived the green pillar, kill a couple miles. When you heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Tell me what you gonna do. When you heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Tell me what you gonna do. You know they came wearing gas masks with bars for restraining. Came carrying shotguns. Came with special training, yeah. Well, killer cops dressed in blue. Told out of the bumper, so it was overdue. Say your time is up, your sentence is set. This kind of thing we should never forget. Somebody's mother was somebody's child. Bumper lived in Greenville, a couple miles. And they heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Heard the news, tell me what you gonna do. Tell me what you gonna do, yeah. Tell me what you gonna do, hell yeah. Tell me what you gonna do.
Celebrating the all black
Stop, killer cop!
Déjalo parar, déjalo parar. Déjalo parar. Ay, me cogieron preso, llama a mi mamá. No te dejes suelo, déjalo parar. Ay, no tengo derecho, no puedo respirar. No te dejes suelo, déjalo parar. Ay, maldita policía, no me deja respirar. No le dejes suelo, déjalo parar. Ay, no importa tu somos igual.
Lo de Venezuela, déjalo parar.
Déjalo parar, déjalo parar.
Lo de Venezuela, déjalo parar.
Ay, repícame la bomba, repícame el
Our shared history. My family's from Haiti on one side, Barbados on the other side. But guess what? I love all black people all over the world. I don't care if you're from Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, from Venezuela, from Mexico. I love all my black people all over the world. And I think it's pretty clear. We all know, fuck the police. I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank you.
Oye mi gente, traemos la fuerza, Oye mi gente, traemos la fuerza, la libertad es, mi única bandera, rise on my people, my condors, my eagle. Ever be illegal. No human being. Ever be illegal. Woo! Greetings from the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival. And the Poor People Campaign put together a demand that we want you to go, when you go home, go to our website and sign this demand. This morning when I checked, we have already almost 15,125. And I should mention 3. We demand, protect and expand the right to vote. Protect and expand the right to vote. We demand that there must be consequences for abuses of police power and justice for families and communities who have been harmed and terrorized by police violence must be a matter of law. We demand demilitarize the police. Demilitarize the police. End mass incarceration. End mass incarceration. Stop criminalizing the poor. Stop criminalizing the poor. Fight poverty. Fight poverty. Fight poverty. Fight poverty.
Bye.